So I heard you like speed forming videos. Well, you're in luck because, for some reason, I keep doing these. Hello everyone and welcome back to what is now apparently the 25th speed forming video. So everyone give yourself a round of applause. I've somehow managed to do this for more than 10 episodes. Today is a bit of a special episode because, technically, it doesn't count as forming anything, but I don't care. And just to let you know that memberships are actually open now on the channel. They have been for quite some time, but I don't think I've literally ever mentioned it. So if you prefer that over Patreon, then there you go. Alright, let's see what I can do. Now the first question you might be asking is, Quarbit, when do you stream? That's Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, by the way. And the second question you might be asking is, why are you playing the Mamluks and not the Ottomans? And the only answer is pretty much it just has better range to reach the stuff over here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But if you look at the decision requirements, which is quite a lot of provinces, you'll see that there are actually some over here, and right here. So being right here, you know, it has a couple of advantages. Now let's start off by dealing with the estates. We'll provide supremacy over the crown as well as strong duchies for a very good reason you'll see later on. We'll also take the primacy of the emirs, we'll grab some land back of course, and we'll also take religious state. And since this game will be relatively short, I'm gonna take a few things that I don't usually take, for instance religious diplomats. I'll also grab religious schools and local residents. The reason for this is that we very much want the Hanbali scholar for giving us reduced aggressive expansion, mostly because I'll be declaring a whole lot of no-CBs. I'll pick up patronage of the arts, we'll also take free enterprise, the dhimmi will get guaranteed minority rights, as well as the liberties, and I think that's good. We'll rival the Ottomans, Lithuania, and Karakoyunlu, and since we're going to need a lot of admin, I'll pick up this advisor right here. We're going to take Tunis as an ally, and let's be sure to make that defensive only. And just at the very end here, we're also going to remove this guarantee. And we'll do the same thing with Cyprus. Now, to absolutely nobody's surprise, the first thing we're going to end up doing is vassalizing Byzantium. Hopefully we get a good general. Okay. Before we start the war, we're also going to pick up a few more allies. I just want to be sure that the Ottomans won't declare on us at any point, because that would really suck. So we don't need, for instance, any of the land in Ajam, so that's fine. Alright, now let's begin. We can start off immediately by grabbing a little bit of corruption, and then immediately going and getting rid of said corruption. It looks like the rest of Christendom doesn't really care what we've done here, which is perfect for us. The first battle is usually the toughest, but I think we'll make it through this one. Whew, just barely, but there it is. Okay, we don't really have enough men to siege this just yet, plus we're also going to be fighting Wallachia here, and that's a bit of an issue. So I'm gonna place down a whole bunch of men real quick. And while we're already low on manpower, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on every single one of these increased enlistment edicts. And since we start with 11% army professionalism, we can go ahead and slacken twice for a little bit of manpower. Now, with said manpower, we can start a second war over here, which we'll call Ajam into. And all we really need is a couple provinces down here. Fortunately, our subject already has a core, so we can take just around, 3 provinces and we're good to go. Just to make sure this army can win pretty much anything it has to, we're gonna go ahead and recruit another general. Oh, it's so much better. It seems the Wallachians have already arrived. That's a bit of an issue. Oh yeah, this one's not looking so good for us. On the other hand, we do have something that is good. Of course, we're going to pick someone from the Egyptian culture group, because all of these abilities depend entirely on the culture group of your leader. Now, we may have lost this battle, but that's fine, because we're gonna come in with a lot more men. Alright, we've assembled this other little force down here that we can use to try and get the Wallachians out of this war. Things are looking good in Karakoyunlu here. All we need to do is make sure we transfer everything to our subject, because he's going to be the one grabbing all this land here. Maybe a little bit dumb, but I am once again going to grab yet another general. This time the reason is because I just don't want this army to die. Oh, come on, seriously? Alright, we're gonna lose a stability and get a couple of pretender rebels. That's not good. I actually kind of like the Sultan, so we're not going to let him die. Alright, there goes the Siege of Mosul. Well, I would like to keep the emirs loyal. As for the loans we'll be taking in the meantime, we can just grab them from the merchant guilds. Also, as a quick tip, be sure to transfer occupation of enemy forts to your subjects, for instance, because you are paying for these while you have them occupied. I'm also going to grab a quick claim on Medina here, so that when this truce is up with them, we can attack them. And they also, coincidentally, this is actually super lucky, lucky, are allied with Aden, who also holds a province that we need. Hey, there goes Constantinople. Nice. Now, turning them into a vassal is going to take quite a little bit longer, but for now we can focus a little bit more on getting Wallachia out. Oh, nice. Done with that siege on Wallachia, and we'll be sure to take as much money as possible. Now, Byzantium's not quite ready to become a vassal, which is perfectly fine. We'll just take a trip down here real quick, and there we go. Now, fortunately, everything just needs to be owned by a subject, so there's really no issue with having Byzantium keep Constantinople. Now we just have to deal with a couple of the rebel issues we have, of course. Okay, looks like we're gonna have to take another battle here as well. Hopefully this one turns out fine. Well, not bad. There we go. Okay, that definitely took long enough. We're done. Now, we're going to be fighting a lot with the Navy from here on out, so I think it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and grab quite a few extra galleys. I think 15 is probably good enough. Screw it, we'll go with 20. Now, we're very lucky to see that Tunis is unwilling to help with Granada. Turns out allying them was actually the right move. Theoretically, if we could ally Morocco as well, then we could make sure that nobody joins this. Why not? Let's give it a shot. Alright, let's go ahead and insult someone that they don't like to see if we can get that opinion up. Alright, we need a little bit of short-term cash, so I'm going to exploit just a little bit. And we'll use that money to try and influence them. And as a last-ditch effort, we're going to give them a gift. Okay, we're very lucky to be able to do this. I don't think it would have been possible for us to fight the Moroccan, Tunisian, and Granada navies at the same time. So, fortunately, we just have to fight Granada. Ooh, now that's awkward. It looks like Tunis was actually willing to join at the last second, even though they said they wouldn't. Although it really doesn't change much about our plans. Alright, now here comes our test against the Tunisians. I'm sure we'll probably be fine. Speaking of fighting, we do have yet another war to start here. And of course also a technology to be taking. Alright, Tunis, let's do this again. Oh, also we grabbed the capital, that's nice. We're also almost entirely out of money and completely out of manpower, so it looks like it's time to grab some more loans. I repaid those previous ones a little bit ago because I can take slightly larger loans now. No, I can't because I didn't take territory. I actually have no idea why I repaid those loans earlier, considering I just had to retake them. Just don't worry about that. And it looks like I'm going to have to deal with someone's ships over here. Alright, Medina's been fully sieged, and I'll have a vassal working on Aden here. Hopefully those guys will do their jobs as I go and scare these dudes off here. The siege of Granada is done, which is wonderful. However, to try and cut down on the number of no-CBs here, I'm going to try and take a province in Tunis and fabricate a claim on Aragon before I declare. So I'm very quickly just going to move into here. I'm going to barrage this fort here, and once they lose a couple more men, I think I'm going to assault it. I do still have the tack advantage, so maybe I'll try that right now. There we go. Alright, works for me. Now we can go ahead and very easily turn Granada into a vassal as well. For some reason, Castile just fought a war with England, because England wanted to take something, but of course, England being England, they are incompetent at landing. But on the bright side, that did wear down Castile's number of troops just a little bit. We'll also call in Morocco. We just need like the one province, so even if I give them something, I don't really care. Now that I have enough army tradition, I'm going to go ahead and grab emirs of the officer corps. This is just so I can grab 2 more generals. I just need to use them for one last slacken. Now, after this, I'm probably just going to hire mercenaries because slackening's a little bit expensive on the whole military thing, so I'd like to try and keep my points to grab the next tech when I need it. Okay, this navy includes quite a few heavies, so we're just gonna go all in, of course. Make sure we crush those. I suspect Morocco's probably not going to do much here. Having these rebels is going to make him go back and forth between the front line and then back home to deal with the one occupied province. That's probably just going to be a mess. Of course, by this point, Castile's not particularly fond of fighting, so as long as we take the capital, we're probably good to go. These guys have seriously been on this fort for an entire year. And they've grabbed 2 progress. Oh my god, they got off the siege, you have to be joking. And we've finally taken Toledo. We'll hand that off to Granada. And you know what, Morocco, you really didn't even do that much, so I'm not giving you anything. Now, of course, we shall continue onwards. Alright, we have enough legalism now, so let's go ahead and debase. Okay, that's all of Sicily. Beautiful. Now to take these 2 provinces, it will be a little bit expensive, that's true. Finally we've taken Adan. Now, as expected from Aden, we're gonna go ahead and take that province. I'll also take as much prestige as possible. And Medina, I'll just take the whole thing. Alright, this might be the most painful siege we'll have to do yet, but it's quite likely we're going to have to siege either the capital or this. Preferably both, but this army's going to prevent at least one of them from happening. Well, actually, let's see here. Alright, we can already get Najd out, and that's a good sign. It's possible we're going to need them for something else, so I'm just going to keep them for now. Okay, the Timurids have finally finished their war, and as expected, literally every single vassal hates them. This is a good sign because if Khorasan, for instance, were to get independence, there's a slight chance we could possibly try and vassalize them ourselves. It's slight. It's not a very good chance, but like, maybe. I will actually also naval barrage this, just to try to get it to go a little bit faster. We seem to be doing pretty okay over here in Hormuz. That military tech difference is carrying a lot of this. Oh my god, I got a 7% siege. That must be the AI or something. Holy. Now, it's not quite enough, but we're pretty close. Okay, so someone has other plans here, evidently. Fortunately, around here we always make contingency plans, so this will still be an effective method. It's really annoying and it costs more aggressive expansion, but if it's what we have to do, then it's what we have to do. Well, on the bright side, we're done with this war with Aragon, so we can take the 2 provinces we need here, which will core ourselves, of course, and we fortunately do get a good stack of money as well. By the way, if you've watched this far into the video and you're not subscribed yet, I'd probably recommend doing so. Making it this far will probably mean that you're going to enjoy my other stuff as well, and I'm sort of hoping to make it to 40k by the end of the summer. Is there seriously no way that the Timurids are going to collapse? I mean, every single subject is pretty much allied to every other subject. It's not like it would be particularly hard. Okay. Now, I've been doing a little bit of thinking, which is rare, I know, but I'm going to get a claim on Tunis over here, then I'm going to break my alliance with Morocco, and these 2 are allied to each other, so of course Morocco is going to accept once I break the alliance with them, and then I am going to transfer occupation of this stuff over here to Granada. I'll peace out Morocco separately, and then I will just get some sort of white peace maybe with Tunis, something that's not particularly painful, and I think that'll work out. Alright, well, we can finally grab our interaction here. Oh, finally we've grabbed the siege. Now, it's extremely ugly, but this seems to be probably the only way we're going to get this done. God, it's so painful. Well, it gets the job done. No, we don't quite have everyone here yet, but I think it's probably a good idea to at least get this war started. Ooh, Castilian separatists have risen up in Granada. It's a bit of an issue. Well, they won't do much for now, but we'll have to fix that at some point. Fun fact, we are now 15 years into the game, and I have only seized the Crown Land once. And every fiber of my being is screaming out in pain at the fact that we are actively increasing our autonomy every single month. Also, I have pretty much no patience, so I'm just gonna assault this fort too. See, that wasn't so bad. Oh, that's looking pretty bad. Not sure we can save this one, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah, that last shock roll, was a little bit much for us. Well, that is unfortunate, but on the bright side, we can get Morocco out of this war. Okay, now we have Ifni. Now, with Tunis, of course, this whole thing was just kind of a joke, you know, a prank of sorts. We're not gonna take anything, that's fine. Okay, it looks like the ruler has technically died, although he isn't actually, like, dead yet. And this says that we get a certain amount of progress each year, and it's December, and we are just about to get these things. So if you'll just give me a couple of days here. Yeah, there we go. Now we'll go ahead and grab yet another monarch of Egyptian heritage. Now it's 1460, and we have everything we need in the west, which is great. And we are also well on our way to grabbing what we need in the east here. The only provinces that are left are Thata, which will be, well, kind of a problem. Quite the problem, actually. And the even worse problem, Samarkand. And every single fort I have to siege here. is level 3 fort. That's a lot of fun. That's 1.33 working its magic. Well, fortunately, we can get Kara Koyonlu to leave. There's a decent chance that we're going to Black Flag, though, so let's make sure these guys are out of the way. And no, we're still good. Okay, that works for me. How on earth does Fars have a friendly attitude with the Timurids? They literally have 86% Liberty Desire. They should be disloyal, right? Whatever. Alright, we've finally taken the capital of Shirvan, which is surprisingly actually the only thing we need. Just to be sure, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the rest of the provinces. Now with Shirvan as our vassal, we're only missing Thata and Samarkand. We can go ahead and actually peace out with these two since we don't care about this war anymore. And funny enough, now that we're at peace, we can go ahead and re-ally up with Morocco. And Tunis as well, you know, why not? Now I've decided that this whole independence war is taking a little too long to fire. It seems like if I really want to make sure it happens, I'm gonna have to go ahead and probably support someone's independence. I think Sistan's probably the best option, because afterwards I can go and declare on Afghanistan to vassalize them, and hopefully Afghanistan and Transoxiana are going to take some provinces which border each other, and even if they don't, I think as long as Transoxiana takes one province that belongs to Afghanistan, something like a core, I think I can return that core and then take provinces, but we'll have to see. So this time my loans actually are larger, so I can, once again, put myself back into debt. Now this time there really isn't anything I can actually do. Maybe I'll support Fars as well. Any day now. Well, if nobody's going to be declaring any wars, then I guess I will. Yep, it is March of 65, and nobody has declared independence war yet. The Timurids have joined a coalition against me, but that doesn't really matter. Everyone is at 100% Liberty Desire. We would win overwhelmingly, but nobody seems to want to do it. Well, that's Gujarat, the easiest pushover of the war so far. Alright, looks like we're gonna take a battle here, so it's as good a time as any to pop this. So now, Delhi's out of this war, and yet somehow, still no independence war against the Timurids. At this point, I've even grabbed Sindh as a new vassal, which means there is only one province left to unify Islam, and there's still been no independence war. Okay. You know, maybe instead of the justified wars, what I should have done is grab the transfer subject, because then I could take someone's subject at half cost. And Transoxiana is 166, meaning if I declared on the Timurids, I would be able to take Transoxiana for, well, half of that. Unfortunately, that would require being good at this game, so, yeah. Well, I guess this is my punishment for leaving literally anything to the AI. Even the simplest of tasks, like hitting the declare war button, seem virtually impossible. I am, in fact, so impatient that I will support the independence of literally every subject, because I would rather break several truces than to wait for the AI to do anything. Now surely, any of them is going to declare independence. Alright, new rule. If the AI does not declare an independence war by the end of this year, I will be taking matters into my own hands. There it is. Okay, cool. Looks like Afghanistan's the one who decided to pull the trigger, which is not good, actually, but that is okay. Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and take the admin tech here, which will give me an idea group slot, and I'm probably gonna use that for espionage just so I can fabricate claims for my subjects. The reason why is that it looks like we can vassalize Sistan at the earliest possible opportunity, and I've been feeding them a little bit of the occupation around here, and I'm hoping that Transoxiana gets given this province. So in the best case scenario, Transoxiana gets this, Sistan gets this, we fabricate a claim, we go in and we win. Or something like that. Whether or not that happens, we'll see. Either way, it looks like the war is pretty close to being done, fortunately. And it may or may not have been a good time to mention that if we had only declared on the Timurids, pretty likely we would have been able to feed a whole bunch of land to Hijaz, and more than likely would have gone all the way over to here. But I'm gonna pretend that that's not real, because it'll make me sad. Okay, we're at 99%. Okay, It's time to look at the map. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, not what I had in mind. Not at all, really. Well, let's go ahead and remove our alliance with Afghanistan, and we can ally up with Sistan, and turn them into a vassal. Now, this is where the fun begins. Now we get to truce break the Timurids, so that we can get a shot at attacking Transoxiana, and the only thing I can be thankful for is that we don't have to do a no CB on Transoxiana, because this is already painful enough. Alright, now we can get ourselves that border with Transoxiana, and like the absolute idiot that I am, I went ahead and reduced war exhaustion at the beginning of the war with the Timurids instead of taking the claim fabrication. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and wait at least a few months unless Sistan is already doing something sketchy, but I don't think they are, so yeah. Alright, yep, sorry about that. Now we can go ahead and grab our claim here, and of course begin our war. It's very fitting that our final war is against the coalition. I don't know, something about it just feels special that way. Alright, come on. Let's go, we don't have that much time today. With the capital in our hands, we're getting pretty close to finishing this run. If we could maybe get Afghanistan out, I think we'll stand a chance at getting a decent peace. Alright, let's see it. Now, after what was possibly the most painful 3-year-long war of my entire life, we finally managed to capture Samarkand. And so, in 1475, 31 years after the game's start, we finally managed to unify Islam, allowing us to form the Caliphate. Now, this run was going really well, and then I managed to make some of the worst decisions I've made in a long time. If I didn't make all those mistakes, I would say it's fairly likely I could have finished this run, probably 7 years earlier. Yeah, I'd go with 7 years earlier. Because that one war we had with the Timurids would have been the only war with the Timurids. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed your time here, and this is Quarbit signing off, and as always, have a fantastic day. Big thank yous to the patrons this month, especially Ben Greenhagen, Matthew Cohn, Quiet Guy, Torvald, Bouncer Steve, Sean, Robert Kaleno, Chewy Shoot, and The Watcher. Patrons get early access to videos, so if you want early access, all you have to do is sign up for the Patreon, the link is in the description. And if you're looking for more videos to watch, I recommend these ones on screen.